You know, we're coming into the final episode of Season 4 now, and I've just got to say, you know, that's how many times Will Smith should have slapped Chris Rock.
I walk through the shadow of death left to fear. This is a journey through the halls of hell.
Yes, people, what is good? I am BA, back once again with another reaction in the Fargo series. This is episode 11 of season 4. This is the finale, and it is called Storia Americana. Last episode. A lot of twists and turns over the last few episodes in general, to be honest. We've lost so many characters now, it feels like, with Irish and the orphan in a box, and then we had the dual death of the detective and Gaetano in a singular scene last episode. We also got the death of the native lady, and of course Timothy Oliphant. So there's been like a tag team death every episode for the last 3 episodes. Is that accurate? I feel like that's accurate. So where are all our chess pieces going into this episode? Well, we've got Gaetano's brother, the Don. I didn't bother to memorize his character name this entire season, and not gonna lie, not something I'm mad about. Right now, he heavily has the advantage because he just double-crossed Cannon with the guy Cannon was trying to get as help for a few weeks, and also the young driver character. Both of those guys double-crossed Cannon last episode and sided with the Don. So right now, they have the upper hand. The daughter went to Cannon at the very end of the last episode and showed him the Don's ring and proved that Nos Mayflower had killed the Don. I'm still trying to figure out how exactly he will use this to just outright win the war, but it's a great piece of information to have. And then speaking of Nos Mayflower, she has now been arrested. I still get the feeling, you know, she's like the ultimate monster in this show. You know, fuck the zombie curse. She is the monster. And they always come back, and I'd like to think that is her out of the equation, but why do I feel like we haven't seen the last of creepy ass Nos Mayflower yet? And yeah, the other thing is, we now know it is a zombie curse, a curse that is in the family of the woman in the funeral home family, I guess, and it follows them down. I feel like it's always really selfish of a curse to follow down through the lineage. It's like in Dragon, the Bruce Lee movie, which I usually have on this rack. It's not exactly an autobiographical movie, but I do have a soft spot for it, alright? But in that movie, his dad passes him down a samurai demon. It's like, fucking hell, Dad, because you have not killed this guy. And also, if you do have a samurai demon that you know is a lineal demon, why have a kid, you evil, selfish fucks? Okay, sorry, Bruce Lee's dad. I've had that rant building up towards you for a long time. We're cool. And we still have 2 wild cards in play on this table as well, which we have yet to see. Now, the first wild card is one half of the jailbreaking duo who has seen her friend and lover be shot, and she's just nowhere to be found just now. Surely she's got to pop up in this episode. And then also a new wild card, which I wasn't expecting, is Chris Rock's son, now just walking about on his lonesome with a dog sidekick and a 6-shooter, and really that's all you need to get by in life, so I genuinely think it's going to work out for this kid. As long as you've got a gun and a dog to keep you company, I mean, fuck the rest of the world, you're good. So yeah, all that being said, I'm really looking forward to getting into this week's episode and seeing how they conclude this, you know, ups and downy, weird, but also interesting season. So without further ado, this is episode 11 of season 4 of Fargo, Storia Americana. Let's check it out and see what it's saying to it. This is an interesting montage. It's just basically of all the side characters, really, but are no longer with us.
Mindful of him, Lord.
And they're still doing it. I didn't expect this episode to start with an obituary section. Okay, confirmed. Irish did die in the hurricane. There is no magic tornado survival for Irish. This intro's bullshit. Don't confirm his death.
What is man?
Well, there's me saying that Don was at a high point. He doesn't really look like he's having a good time. I guess he's actually mourning the death of his brother, which is the least he can do after Gaetano stupidly decided to blindly follow him after he tried to have him killed.
Impressive.
Yes, she is.
And store up my inheritance.
He obviously fell for the daughter while he was working at the funeral home, and I guess that means Cannon took the deal and that's his men moving out of that business now.
That you would care.
Ah, shit. Okay, so this is a smart strategy and what I figured might happen, you know? He's trying to convince the New York side of the family that it was the current Don, I guess, who had the previous one killed. Is this downward spiral all just Gaetano? I didn't think he would spend a day mourning him.
Remember me?
Why is he doing this? This doctor is racist and I am actively starting to feel sorry for him, man. He's been poisoned and then fucking clubbed. Still, he's racist. You know, give him a few more things. Then I might start to begin the opening sequence of the intro, of the interlude, of the beginning of me possibly starting to feel sorry for him. How has she got out? How did she get out? I knew we hadn't seen the last of this bitch. He had the doctor killed just to get her out of jail. That is fucking ridiculous. Again, I didn't think he liked her that much that he would commit a double murder to get her out of jail for the framing. Is that because he knows this is related to the death of the Don? Surely this isn't because of fucking love.
Get your house in order and we can talk. I'll get back to you.
It's a smart play. If you want peace, go and kill who needs to be killed, come back and tell me they're killed, we can talk again. Can't ask for any more than that.
We've driven every back road from here to Canada trying to avoid them bulls. And just when we thinking we home free...
I don't have any time for your little table stories now, you absolute rat. You literally got reached out to in a time of need by a guy from a different state offering you a great deal and you just turn around and go to the enemy of him in the same state? What a piece of shit. Oh no, this doesn't look good. This has got to be a bait and switch. I think this is someone coming to tell him that they're dead.
We got Cannon. It's over. We won.
That's a lie. I don't believe it. Something else happened. This is a double cross.
He's dead.
No way Chris Rock just gets shot in the back of the head right now. This dude's dying. This dude's dying. Don't raise the violin then cut away again. No one wants to see this man put a jacket on.
What's she doing here?
Very funny.
What is all of this? Is this like the mafia having an inquest? I knew that fucking guy was dying. Don't try and trick me with editing, Fargo.
Oh, shit!
Yeah, exactly. Oh shit, now die. And fuck this guy as well. Came up being a goody two-shoes trying to get put on, actually gets put on as a driver. Even with that attitude, that isn't the guy I would be promoting, you know, just a kiss ass looking to climb up the ladder. But still, he did. He gave him a driver job, and that guy betrayed him as well. Now your little Bugsy Malone shoes ain't even touching the ground, bitch. Loved that scene. Very similar to the end of The Godfather 1, and just essentially, if we're talking metaphorically, he just dropped a Molotov cocktail into the snake pit. All the snakes have been vanquished, we're back on level terms in a fair fight.
You said we got the guy. Why are we celebrating?
Oh, you're in some deep shit now, bro.
Tu sei accusato di crimini contro la tua famiglia.
What family?
Yes, it is basically like a mafia trial. I have all the time in the world for this. I could spend 2 episodes dissecting this prick's moves in a mafia legal drama.
To kill your own father.
What?
Your papa.
Don't what? You 100% did. I don't care if you were high on whatever hospital drugs she'd piped you with at the time. You said that shit, and she doesn't need much encouragement.
I didn't think, what with all the pea shooters, that I should lie.
I'm sorry. What is happening right now?
What a fucking traitor she is as well. A murderous nurse. He's just got out of jail by killing the dude that could testify against her, and she's just turncoated him. Everyone in this season's a snake.
He's in a lot of pain, you said, and I don't like to see him like that. And you also said, will you take care of him?
He did say that shit. Why is he acting like he genuinely doesn't remember that? Was he that fucking high?
She's just a skirt I met the one time.
She was at the funeral.
If that wasn't already in your head, you wouldn't have said it no matter how high you were.
I'm gonna piss.
Are they actually going to kill him right now? It is the final episode, so anyone can die in this episode of Fargo. I wouldn't be surprised that anyone die in this episode. Except the kid, the funeral home girl, or the dog. If you kill either of those three characters, you can eternally go and fuck yourself.
You kill most of your patients.
I'm sure I don't know what you mean.
Oh, now you want to start lying.
This is the woman you choose. Un assassin.
Now, that guy makes a fucking brilliant point. How the fuck do you choose that as your partner?
You kill your father, so you can wear the crown. Then you kill your brother.
It's a damning piece of evidence. How do you dispute that? I mean, the Mafia doesn't have a forensics department, so that's as good at evidence as they're ever going to bring up in a meeting with you. If they did have a forensics department, they'd be fucking terrifying.
They'll chop your eyeballs out.
New York knows.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, I bet you the first thing he did was discuss it with New York to see what they thought, and they would have told him to go and get the nurse.
You full-blooded Italian piece of shit! You piece of shit! No! You...
Did he call him a full-blooded Italian piece of shit? Surely that's a good thing in the Mafia. And I'm pleased they've took the nurse with him. Fuck her as well, you know. She thought she was gonna get away with providing them the information of killing his dad, and then he would get killed and she'd get away again. No, she still pulled the trigger essentially. You know, the syringe-shaped nurse trigger, but she pulled the fucking thing. She deserves to be in this car.
I've had, and I don't mind saying, as hard 24 hours as has ever been had on God's green earth.
What do you think's happening right now?
Oh my god, this woman is so special. And I mean that in the worst possible way you could imagine. Not quite as effective without a syringe, are you? Thought you maybe had some kung fu or something, but no. Yeah, and you know, that's what happens when you sleep with crazy. I've got all the time in the world for this scene. Use all the slow motion shots. Drag this shit out over the course of 10 minutes for all I care. Do some rewinds as he gets shot in the head. Oh, that's a fine hole. That's a beautifully dug hole. You have to give them credit in the craftsmanship of such a burial pit.
You don't have to do this.
They do. This is what you get for spending an entire season talking like you're about to order a latte with coconut milk.
We're paisan. Come on. We change our names.
I do not know how to describe how she's handling this situation. Incredibly detached would be my starting point.
Any last requests?
Yeah, can you shoot him first so I can watch?
What?
What the fuck? She is so fucking crazy. To the end, this is one of the most bizarre characters I've ever watched on this channel. To the fucking end. Thank God we got the death of both of these pricks before the end of this season. This one scene is absolutely glorious. R.I.P. you pair of sick weird twats. I hope you're drinking poisoned coconut milk lattes in hell. No offense to anyone out there that likes fucking coconut milk in a coffee. It was just the most hipsterish thing I could quick draw out of the holster. Sometimes you hit, sometimes you miss, you know. Sometimes innocent bystanders take a few shots for the joke. It's fine. It's fine. Enjoy your coconut milk, you frail-boned little f***. Yeah, so again, can someone explain why we ever went away from the Cadillac design of cars? Why don't all cars just look like Cadillacs forever? Is the Tesla Cybertruck truly an improvement over that?
Wait here.
Again, I think this is a bait and switch. I don't think anybody will be in here waiting to hurt Cannon. Might be his son. Maybe his son made his way back and just broke in, like a G. This must have been his son, right? He's just broke back into the house and made himself food and shit. It is the son, yes. I knew he was gonna be okay. Made his way home solo, revolvered up. Hey, you love to see it, man. I thought Fargo was gonna punch me in the gut and show him just like hanging or something. This is brilliant. Him and the dog, safe and sound, revolver on the fucking bedside cabinet. Man, that's fucking heartwarming. And I know I have an icy exterior, I don't cry at sad points, but this is so fucking beautiful. Especially because both of these people were led to believe he had died. Not only that he was missing, that he was dead. Behind this stone face life has forced me to build, I am feeling something right now. I mean, words can't describe how she would feel in that moment. You wouldn't even think it was real. Whew, I feel like I've just been on a little emotional roller coaster there. I'm pleased we just took a minute to breathe after that, because that was some heavy stuff. They could have really ended the season on that note and it would have been a great moment, to be honest. I guess we've got a few loose ends to tie up still. Does the daughter still need to face the zombie demon curse, or are we just putting that to one side?
All is forgiven.
Back to business.
And this, of course, the resolution to the actual war. But you know, zombie ghosts do come before warfare. Watch Game of Thrones, they know the script.
This is half our business.
Wow, so that stuff on the right was what they were proposing to leave for canon, and the list on the left was all the stuff they wanted. That is completely unfair.
This is just part of the new plan. Our national plan. For the nation.
I forgot, but this probably does, time-wise, tie into Lucky Luciano attempting to start the National Crime Syndicate. So that makes a lot of sense.
When you look at me, you don't see the men behind me. And the men behind him.
It's very, very true. Again, the Mafia are set up like a Hydra. And as I said, it would be easier to deal with them if you took out the head of an area they weren't that heavy in, so they had to come and set up again. But essentially what he's saying is true. At this point, especially with the National Crime Syndicate coming into play, it would be a bad time to go against them. This is them at their height of power.
You work for us now. You do what we say, or we kill you and find someone who will.
That would be such a hard pill to swallow, as some would like canon, but I feel like he is smart enough to understand that this is an unwinnable situation. Yeah, that guy's looking a bit smug right now, but it's because he knows they've organised a structure which was unlike anything ever seen before. It obviously was also the dumbest decision of all time. Like, if you're going to operate like that, you have to do it like Anonymous, where there is no real head, but these motherfuckers actually assigned bosses to every area and then decided to have a giant boss meetup, which obviously the fucking feds stung, one of the biggest takedowns of mafia bosses in history, and it was just because they were all stupid enough to not only work like that, but also choose to have a meeting point, instead of it just being like an idea put into the air that all the other bosses hear from somewhere. And I guess this is supposed to be the moment of realization for him that, you know, family is the most important thing, and who gives a fuck who won the war. He's still got his entire family waiting for him when he gets in the door. And he should be thanking his lucky stars to be in this situation, considering who he was and the severity of the situation he was involved in there. This is a perfect outcome for him. Oh, it's the woman! It's the sister! Well, there was me saying it was the perfect fucking outcome. Jesus Christ, Fargo. I knew the sister was gonna wildcard the fuck out of this episode. Oh no. It's the two wildcards facing off against one another. They both came to the same house, these goddamn wildcards. What's your favourite scary movie? Nosferatu, it's the only one currently available in the entire world. I wonder how this kid's gonna feel about that. You know, it's obviously his father, which is always going to hurt, but it's a father that traded him like an object. I can't see him having a really, really deep reaction to this. Still though, tell me this boy doesn't have the ultimate origin story to grow up to be an absolute don. I mean, the childhood he has had is the roughest shit ever so far.
And through them, we see the events of our times.
But I guess all that's left to tie up now is the zombie, if they're going to.
My name is Etherita Pearl Smutney. This is my history report.
Etherita, I am so sorry it has taken to this exact moment, the last moment of the last episode for me to know your name, but Etherita, it is nice to meet you. I am BA. I'm shit with names. Oh, we're getting a post-credit sequence. Oh, shit! Wait, was he the fucking kid? You are joking me. No way. What a crazy tie-in that is. Wow. That's actually a really cool twist I didn't see coming at all. It makes me want to see more of this character again in the future as well, because he's still alive out there, working a shitty desk job, and also that must mean that Mike Milligan wasn't his real name ever. Okay, and that was episode 11, the finale of season 4 of Fargo, Storia Americana, and I will be back in just a minute with my thoughts on that. So, Storia Americana, what did I think of that? It was a very satisfying episode, which all followed a very A to Z structure, really until the twist at the very end. All the scenes sort of played out almost expectedly, but also in a satisfying way I was hoping they would play out in. There's also a second exception to that actually, when the sister killed Cannon. I wasn't expecting that either. But everything before that was just what I was hoping would happen. We first of all got to see Norse Mayflower and the Dawn get led to their burial site, both shot in the head and buried. And how creepy was it that Norse Mayflower's last request was just to see someone get shot in the head so she could observe death one last time? Like, fucking hell, what a horrible character to her last breath, literally. And then, even better than that, I was expecting the son to be okay, but not only was he okay, he'd managed to single-handedly, along with the dog, get his way back to the family headquarters, made himself food, and then went to sleep. And I'll just talk about the end right now because we're on his character, but that is crazy if this show is suggesting that he grows up to be the Mike Milligan character from season 2, who was an awesome character in his own right, and again a wild card even as an adult. But I'm not gonna lie, seeing the progression of him and knowing that's what he grew up into, it now makes his end in season 2 more unsatisfying, if that makes sense, and it makes me desperately want to see him pop back up, you know, in a season 5 or a season 6 as a, once again, older Mike Milligan, and maybe finally get the last laugh. After all he fucking went through as a kid, I feel like his story arc deserves to end more satisfyingly than getting put in a weird desk job position like was his fate at the end of season 2. Does that make sense? This sort of sullies his ending of season 2 for me a little bit. And Cannon used the ring very wisely, had a meeting set up with a guy who wasn't the Don, who could communicate with New York. Norse Mayflower snitched him in straight away for some reason, and they knew it was him, plus the ring as evidence. Like I said, that's as good as a trial as you can get from the Mafia. So what was crazy was as well, they tied this into the formation of the National Crime Syndicate, and in real life I don't know the exact year that took place. I know it was Lucky Luciano and several other forward-thinking people attempted to nationalise the system and have a Don in every state and every country kind of idea for a while. But yeah, it just shows that that created a situation where other rival gangs were no longer able to be rivals anymore to the Mafia for a little bit, because the Mafia, if they had trouble in X state, had all these other areas now where they could call reinforcements into the problematic area until a war was won. So you were batting uphill against them, you couldn't fuck with them, and it basically showed Cannon's acceptance of that. Going home, being pleased that, you know, his family's still alive after all this war, he's still got what's most important to him. And there was me, really happy for the dude, literally described it as the perfect ending, and then a blade pops through his fucking chest. I was just thinking, yep, there you are, Fargo. And I did describe the sister as a wild card before this episode, and there she was. I guess that was the revenge she felt was necessary. I still don't understand why. Was that genuinely Chris Rock that gave the detective the order to shoot the other woman? I do not understand how this sister deemed Cannon the culprit of that scenario. And frustratingly, we got the fucking build-up of the zombie cost this entire season. We got the daughter talking about how she's gonna have to face it, etc., and then we never got a payoff to it. It was just a strange supernatural element introduced, slightly explored, used for weird cinematic moments is how I would describe it. Like, you know, it'll be a tense moment and shit, and they'll have a bit of slow motion with a character character, but then it'll cut to another shot and it'll be this same tense moment, but the zombie will be in the background. Now, I don't mind any of that, and as I said, I don't even mind explanations being left mysterious sometimes, but it at least seemed like it was going somewhere as a plot, and then they just didn't do anything with it this episode. So yeah, not to say it wasn't another interesting element, but if I'm going to summarise this season now, here's what really sucks about season 4. This actually has so many great ideas on paper. If you just passed me some of these ideas on paper, the trade-off of the sons and the warring families, and it beginning with a montage of the battles for power, and then leaving us in this current situation of the Mafia against Cannon's family, it's a brilliant setup. And then you've got a serial killer nurse, you've got a crazy brother combination going on in the Mafia, you've got an interesting detective character with OCD who's being paired up with a higher power from out of state who's a Mormon cop guy who eats carrots like Bugs Bunny. Like, if you put all this stuff on paper and passed it to me, I would be like, wow, this season's gonna be really fucking dope. And then you were like, yeah, and on top of that, we're gonna have a little bit where it's just the son fending for himself with his dog, and there's gonna be a crazy tornado in one segment, and we're gonna tie in the lore of this reoccurring zombie character which pops up and we later discovers a curse. I'd be like, yo, that's adding such unique elements to what is already pretty fucking fire characters and scenarios here. And just for some reason, now it's all come together and it's been filmed and it's been written and shit. A lot of these great ideas have bad payoffs or are used in bad and unexpected ways, which doesn't maximize the potential greatness of the idea, which is absolutely alien to Fargo thus far, because this entire show is peppered with great ideas and you usually get the perfect payoffs to the great ideas as well, or they're explored even further and make it even more interesting. Like when I learned about the subtext of superposition in season 3, and you know, people being both existing and not, and Gloria's whole thing being, was she even actually real? And it being like, well, yeah, she both isn't, it's superposition. And that is a layer that most people won't even get from season 3, and even if you didn't look into the superposition shit, it's still a fucking amazing season. So that just shows the density of the writing we're usually dealing with. So I don't exactly know what was going on with this, but all I'll say is I've still got full faith in Noah Hawley as a writer, because 3 out of 4 is a fucking really good tally for you know, exceptional television, not just good, exceptional. And I thought all of the 3 first seasons were exceptional, not just good, absolutely fucking amazing. So this is a notable step down from that, but within it, you can see that he is not just phoning it in. Like I said, on paper, there was so many interesting and unique elements going on, but just for some reason, it did not come together mechanically, and in some cases work well cinematically. And also the obvious strange decisions in early episodes, the farting stuff that they done in 2 episodes, it just doesn't work for me. It does not blend well with crime drama. There was someone in the comments actually defending it, so I guess they liked it, and they said it was also used in The Last King of Scotland. Like, I don't give a fuck, mate. If you're making a serious drama and writing a fart joke into it, you have fucking sullied whatever that scene was trying to be. If you were trying to build tension, you fucking ruined it. If you were trying to have a deep, meaningful conversation, you fucking ruined it. And the way Fargo used it was in a scene where there was tension with people who might have been Cannon's crew passing the Don's car while kids were playing with toy guns in the background, and then during a bank robbery. Both moments which traditionally build tension, he has chosen to completely defuse, like literally licked his fingers and put the fucking fuse out on by pointless fart jokes. It does not work to me. And one last thing I'll say about it is, you know how you get horror fans who just, if there's lots of blood in it, they think it's fucking incredible. Well, to me, as someone who writes, I just couldn't bring myself to even start writing horror like that, because it seems like it's easy and shit and not clever. Like, it doesn't take a lot of brain power to be like, you know, and then he sticks the crowbar in her armpit and hooks one of her ribs out. You know, you could think of stupid, creative, horrible ways to mutilate a human body with different weapons all day, and it's not clever. And to me, the comedic version of that is a fart joke. It would be so easy if you're writing a comedy movie to be like, and then they fart more, and then they fart everywhere. It's not big and it's not clever ever, especially when it's used in what is otherwise meant to be a serious, yes sometimes quirky, but otherwise serious crime drama. Sorry, no fucking dice, no fart jokes in serious dramas work ever, end of story. And usually I accept that my opinion is subjective. No, this time I'm right and anybody that disagrees has a fetish. And the other one, which I didn't actually like, was when Gaetano was about to enter a bar in an earlier episode and he just slips on his ass. At this point they're trying to build that character up to be a badass, absolute, henchman on his side, someone who can actually get the job done physically, and again they defuse that somewhat by just having him come across as a bit of a bumbling buffoon, and I understand they're adding layers to his character. People are human, some people who are badass do slip, it happens, but also cinematically just doesn't work for the character for me when you're trying to make him appear one way. People are never going to take him as serious again when you've included a scene of him slipping on his ass like a dipshit. And yes, there was a payoff to that slip, as I said later on when he shot himself in the head, but to me, they could have cut out the earlier scene of the slip, and that stumble scene when he shot himself would have worked because of the ice and the tenseness of the situation and stuff. And yeah, they didn't have to have that earlier scene in. But they're just 3 moments I didn't like throughout this entire show. And like I said, it's disappointing to see great ideas not used to their full potential, but that shit happens sometimes, I'm sure next season Noah Hawley will be back on his A game because 3 out of 4 times he has been. And I hate being critical, this whole world has become toxic, even if it's clearly not a good film I'm watching. Like, you can go through my watch history on this channel and I have sat and watched films and you can look at their Rotten Tomatoes score and that is what the general public think of them. And I am not a stupid person. I am aware whether I'm watching something that has clearly had a long time spent on it and something that isn't of the highest quality. But that being said, I'll always try and find the fun in it, or even if it's clearly something that's so bad I can't pull out good points from, instead of fucking lying, I'll just start getting more of a joke while watching the film, and by the end of it I'll think that film was good just because I got so much of a joke with myself. My point being, I do always try and be positive, and I'm not trying to be overly negative about this season. They're just my honest critiques about it, and once again, as I said, I am fully confident that season 5 is going to be a return to form. If you've liked this video, click like, subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, ring the bell to be notified as to when they drop. If there's anything you want to talk about, comment down below and share this around to anyone you think might appreciate it or want to watch these reactions along with us. My Patreon link is down in the description. If you become a patron, you get access to my blog, you get access to these reactions I put on YouTube a month and a half in advance, and you also get access to full-length versions of everything I react to. So consider becoming a patron, it helps me and my channel out so much, and until next time, I have been BA, peace.